Hey everyone, so it's been a while since I've stepped in front of the camera, so bear with me as I get through this, but you know how downloads work, and when you just, it comes at like the least inopportune times, and when you're completely doing something else and something just like this download hits and it just takes you by surprise, and it's kind of how this happened today. So we've been working with Athena here in our temple, and I've really been trying to deepen my own connection with her, because if I'm completely honest, she is not one of my patron deities. She's not one that I work with often, unless I want to go into that warrior archetype, right? Unless I need that strength, that battlefield, like preparedness. But I've been recently... So I've been praying a lot to Athena and deepening my own connection and really just opening myself up to her wisdom and what she has to offer, right? Just sitting at my altar and really just having a connection, or having a conversation, right, with the goddess, and just saying, listen, I'm telling you this is my own personal practice. Obviously, whatever you feel called to do, always follow your intuition, because that, I think, is goddess guiding you. And, just opening myself up to, okay, what needs to come through? What needs to be said? How can I be a channel, right? As a priestess of this temple, how can you use me? What needs to be said, right? From Athena. And of course, I'm driving to work today, listening to a random podcast about the current astrology, and it suddenly everything just kind of clicks, right? All of these symbols, all of these things that I've kind of been have been coming up the last few days, the puzzle finally all of a sudden fits, right? So I had to rush home and I have to record this. And I kind of wanted to just share with you what came through today and what I think Athena's wisdom is for us this month. And, just kind of a different side of her. Obviously, Athena, wise woman, warrior. I've been contemplating a lot on her symbols, specifically her symbol of the owl. Whenever we see Athena, there is always an owl either flying right by her or perched on her shoulder. And the owl has come to represent wisdom. It's come to represent deeper understanding, because of its association with the goddess of wisdom. And so Athena and the owl have been linked since ancient Greece. But I've been thinking more and more about the owl and owl medicine, right? And just what the owl can represent. And when you think of an owl, owls have spectacular vision, right? And spectacular night vision. And their hearing is far superior to ours as humans. And if you've ever been around an owl, I took my kids to it wasn't a zoo, but it was like a local animal sanctuary, and they had a bird show, and essentially they had an owl, right, that they had been rehabilitating, and this owl came out. And if you've ever been around an owl when it's flying, it is completely silent. I was sitting in one of the first rows, and this owl had flown back behind us, right, and perched somewhere in the back of the arena. And I kid you not, I didn't even hear it. And as it swooped towards the stage, it kind of brushed along my hair. And I didn't even know that it was that close to me until it was too late, until it had already made contact, until I felt the wind, right? I keep just an owl is silent. When an owl flies, it is silent. And that's what makes it such a great hunter, what makes it such a great predator, is because it can sneak up on you. But when I think of an owl, I always get this image of an owl just sitting in a tree, right? And we all know an owl can turn its head 170 degrees to each side, right? Almost all the way around. or 135, I don't know. But it has quite a range, right? So it can see a lot, right, of surface area. It can cover a large area. I feel like I'm not explaining this right. Like I always just tend to ramble, but that's just me. So the owl has this amazing vision, right? And I think of it, I always get this image of just it's sitting up in a tree and being an observer, watching, waiting. And I think about how that translates to Athena and her mysteries and how she can help us this month. Athena is the goddess of battle strategy, obviously the goddess of wisdom. We picture her in full armor, right? We think she's ready for battle. She's prepared, right, for anything. Her shield, her spear, she's ready to go. But the thing is, and this is where she's different from Aries, because currently recording this, we're in Aries season, right? And Aries, god of war. That masculine energy, that drive to do, that drive to fight, it's very impassioned. But Athena, being a female deity, being a goddess, she's not quick to do, right? And this is where we get the difference between the masculine and the feminine warrior. The masculine is ready to fight, ready to go, ready to defend. And I think she takes more of a passive approach to where she is observing. Okay, and she is thinking and she is taking in all this information like the owl, right? She's sitting perched high above, overlooking everything that's going on and digesting all of this information, right? So she can make an informed decision. So she can strike when she's ready. And so how can we apply this to our lives? How many times do we react? Does something just trigger us, right? And we're immediately sent into an emotional response and we just react, right? And we just get defensive, or we immediately get angry, or we immediately get upset. We immediately just, our emotions overcome us. What if we took that passive approach and said, okay, whatever that trigger was, when it's coming in, right? Digesting it, taking a moment to observe what you're feeling, what's being triggered, and then forming a response to that situation, right? Or to that person, to the comment or whatever it was, right? That came at you, that triggered that immediate reaction, right? So instead of an immediate reaction, what if we took a moment to observe what's being said, what's triggering us, and our feelings, and then making a response? And I really feel like that's what her wisdom is. That's what her message is for us this month. Is to not get so pulled into that Aries, that masculine, that drive, that defensiveness. Instead, being a passive warrior. Instead, being our own goddess of wisdom. And instead, taking that owl medicine and just being like, okay, I'm seeing everything in front of me. I am looking at it, right, from all angles. I'm witnessing it. And this is how I choose to respond. This is how I choose to move forward. And doing that from a place of just like this higher awareness. The owl isn't out there looking for a fight. The owl is sitting and watching, right? And waiting. And I think that's a really great way it's a really great thing for us to practice. That is my message. That was my channel download this morning from Athena. And yes, love to hear your thoughts. Love to hear, if this is something that you already do, or if this is something that you could maybe implement in your practice, if this is something that you need to work on, right? Because you are so reactionary, you are in that fiery Aries energy. So let me know. Thank you so much for being here. I'm sending you all of my love and blessings from Athena.